to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station bringing you the realest entertainment, information, music, lifestyle, and truth and comedy shows around. This is Let's Talk. I don't count likes, calories, or blessings. I don't dine with snakes or bite my tongue. It is what it is. I am what I am. I am your host, Tony Williams. And today I have some breaking news for you. Now I know everyone is not on the whole save the planet thing, but y'all might want to get on it because things are getting worse. There's a lot going on, and that's why I'm doing this breaking news report. Plastic pollution is doing a number on our planet, and it has begun to affect us, whether we realize it or not. This story came across my desk, and I had to go ahead and put it out there because if you're like me and so many other people who like to eat ice, this does affect you. Alright? Now you say, what is plastic pollution? Well, as the world's population continues to grow, so does the amount of garbage that people produce. Especially with the on-the-go lifestyle, requires easily disposable products such as soda cans or bottles of water, plastic bags. But the accumulation of these products has led to increasing amounts of plastic pollution around the world. As plastic is composed of major toxic pollutants, it has the potential to cause significant harm to the environment in the form of air, water, and land pollution. Now I know you're wondering, now how could this be? It gets put in, I put mine in the trash. Well, everyone doesn't do that. And even sometimes with even putting it in the trash, it still finds its way to our water sources and places like that. Put simply, plastic pollution is when plastic has gathered in an area and has begun to negatively impact the natural environment and create problems for plants, wildlife, and even the human population. Often this includes killing plant life and posing dangers to local animals. Plastic is an incredibly useful material, but is also made from toxic compounds known to cause illnesses, and because it is meant for durability, it is not biodegradable. So let's get that on out there. Plastic is not biodegradable. So like I said, even when you put it in the trash and it goes to the landfill or whatever and gets buried and covered up, it's not biodegradable. So it has lasting effects. Now you say, okay, well you mentioned ice. Yes, I know we all like our ice, but if there is plastic in the ice, I don't think we're going to like that as much. And well, it has been found. So let me go into this story, and if you follow me on Twitter, you can find the story there. If you're listening on YouTube, I will put the links in the description box. Alright? So, here we go. Let's dive in. Alright, scientists find microplastic in ice. Now this is by a gentleman by the name of Matthew Green, courtesy of London Reuters. Tiny pieces of plastic have been found in ice cores drilled in the Arctic by a U.S.-led team of scientists, underscoring the threat of growing form of pollution poses to marine life in even the remotest waters on the planet. The researchers used a helicopter to land on ice floes and retrieve the samples during an 18-day icebreaker expedition through the Northwest Passage, the hazardous route linking the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. And it goes on to say, we had spent weeks looking out at what looked so much like pristine white sea ice floating out on the ocean, said Jacob Strock, a graduate student researcher at the University of Rhode Island, who conducted an initial on-board analysis of the cores. When we look at it up close and we see that it's all very, very visibly contaminated when you look at it with the right tools. It felt a little bit like a punch in the gut, Stroke told Reuters by telephone on Wednesday. Strock and his colleagues found the material trapped in ice taken from Lancaster Sound, an isolated stretch of water in the Canadian Arctic, which they had assumed might be relatively sheltered from drilling plastic pollution. The team drew 18 ice cores of up to 2 meters, which is 6.5 feet long, from our locations and saw visible plastic beads and filaments of various shapes and sizes. The plastic just jumped out in both its abundance and scale, said Bryce Luce, an oceanographer at the University of Rhode Island and chief scientist of the expedition, known as the Northwest Passage Project. The scientists' dismay, oh, that's sad, he was a bit upset, is remnants of the felt by the explorers who found plastic waste in the Pacific Ocean's Marianas Trench, the deepest place on Earth, during submarine dives earlier this year. Now that's kind of sad. They're going deep into the ice and everything, and it's way down there. So that lets you know that it's pretty bad. It's almost 7 feet underneath. So it's really bad. The Northwest Passage Project is primarily focused on investigating the impact of man-made climate change on the Arctic, whose role as the planet's cooling system is being compromised by the rapid vanishing of summer sea ice. But the plastic fragments known as microplastic also serve to highlight how the waste problem has reached epidemic proportions. The United Nations estimates that 100 million tons of plastic have been dumped in the oceans to date. That is plastic pollution at its worst. The researchers said the ice they sampled appeared to be at least a year old and had probably drifted into Lancaster Sound from more central regions of the Arctic. Plastic snowfall. The team plans to subject the samples to further analysis to support a broader research effort to understand the damage plastic is doing to fish, seabirds, and large ocean mammals, such as whales. Funded by the National Science Foundation and the Heising-Simons Foundation in the United States. The expedition in the Swedish icebreaker, the Odin, ran from July 18th to August 4th and covered some 2,000 nautical miles. Separately, German and Swiss scientists published a study on Wednesday based on samples from the Arctic, Swiss Alps, and Germany that suggests microplastic is being blown vast distances through the air and dumped when it snows. The team from Helmholtz Center for Polar and Marine Research found that snow collected at the Norwegian Arctic contained up to 14,400 particles of plastic per liter. The study found its highest concentration of particles, 154,000 particles per liter, near a rural road in the German federal state of Bavaria. Melanie Bergman, a marine ecologist who co-led the research published in Science Advances, said much of the large amounts of microplastic found in the Arctic in previous studies had probably been carried there through the atmosphere. Once we've determined that large quantities of microplastic can also be transported by the air, it naturally raises the question as to whether and how much plastic we're inhaling. Bergman said in a statement. Now, as you can see, this is actually very important, and it is breaking news for the simple fact that most people, especially during the summer and even the fall months, like to eat ice, but we're not sure if they're eating microplastic because it's really hard to see it without the right tools. So if that's going on, and then they're talking about us breathing microplastic in, that's going to affect our respiratory. I mean, there's a lot of things going on with this, and I know a lot of people do not actually take the time to think about these sort of things. So it makes me question and wonder, are we really on top of what's going on with this? So I need to let you guys be aware of this. There are cause and effects to this plastic. Now that we know it is not biodegradable, the awareness should be brought, because it's made of toxic compounds known to cause illness. And because it is meant for durability, it is not biodegradable. So if it's not biodegradable, we cannot ingest this and do well. Our body is not going to be able to handle that. We're already taking in enough chemicals, and microplastic is not one that we really want to play with. So beware of eating ice. Beware of what's floating around, especially if you live in the areas where ice is, and even the ones who don't, because that's where we get our ice majority of the time from. Our ice is not just coming from around the corner. It's coming from where the ice is. And so even if we stop and decide, well, we're going to just do our own ice at home, with it being in the water, we still run a high risk of ending up with microplastic in our water, in our drinking water, in our ice. Because if you freeze it, it's still there. It's not going to kill it. We're unsure of what will take care of that at the moment. That's why these researchers have put out these warnings. And for me to get this emergency email, I felt that it was important for everyone to know and be aware. Now, I know most of us do not have the microscopic tools just lying around at home to be able to check our eyes, so this is just for your awareness. Now, if you decide to look at your eyes, take a look at it. If you've got if you got a mirror or magnifying glass or whatever, go ahead, take a peek. It's not guaranteed that you'll see it, but if you do see it, then great that you saw it, so you won't ingest it. But our health is very important, and something does need to be done about this situation. We have enough diseases and illnesses going around, and enough other pollutions going around, that I think we're at high risk for a lot of things. So guys, just be aware, and this has been your breaking news for today. I thank you for listening, and I will keep you updated on this story and others like it, because I want you guys to be aware. Shout out to all my new listeners and my own ones, day ones. Definitely like, share, and follow on all the social media sites: Tumblr, Facebook, Vigo Videos, Snapchat, WordPress, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LiveMe. The On One Radio is powered by Spreaker.com. The On One Talk Show podcast station is found at www.spreaker.com/user/TonyOn- and the number 1. And if you're over on YouTube, like, subscribe for raw, uncut truth that is on One Radio. I have been your host, Tony Williams, and this has been Let's Talk, and this has also been your breaking news for today. Be aware, much love and respect to you all, and have a great day.